get lots and lots of experience failing. If you can really get over that, that's where the genius shows up. You just got to be able to say, oh, that didn't work. Got to keep it moving. And so one of the things I have said to even my boys is, I would love for you, one of your first jobs, to be in sales.
You know, people get, I'm afraid to fail. That's ridiculous. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. But here's the thing you look at. Hey, if it doesn't go right that day, you know what you say? You know what? That's not how to get there. She just got smarter, right? You don't get bitter, you get better. So speak to yourself in positive is a big thing.
Don't turn your back on who you are, okay? And who your people are, okay? Because you're part of that global majority. You and I, we're part of that global majority, right? So don't take that and embrace that, but also embrace the folks that you see in the community, right? So I know, like, I'll see someone at the gym, and I was like, bruh, hey, I'll go introduce myself, right? Especially here in Bellingham.
Take the time to get to know people. Take the time to get to know how different ethnicities do things, how people grew up in different cultures, different neighborhoods. People eat different things. People speak different ways. So just all those different things about people. If you just learn about people and be willing is the key. Willing to learn about different people and know that at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters.
You have yet to meet like some of your best collaborators. You have yet to meet the people who might change your life, and just continue like finding and building that authentic path for yourself, and not relying on other people's perceptions or perspectives of what you should be doing. Like fight for your authenticity, I think is what I would say.
Yeah.
Life has got its way of making you find your niche. And you'll be brilliant at it. You don't even have to sweat it. You enjoy it. So go for it. And there is a lot to life that we do not know. I'll keep it to three. Usually people can remember three things. Have a passion for love. Have a passion to care for people. We've talked about perseverance, hard work. The last one I would like to leave it is life is fun. Life is fun.
Yeah.
Life is fun. Let's enjoy life.
I was always told and taught in my house, you'd rather have influence than affluence. See, people are always chasing the dollar, but you'd rather have influence, because if you have influence, you can move millions of people. So I started looking back and I went, damn, that's why I got this skill set. That's why I can sit down and have these conversations.
Know your history, and just don't study history and know your history just to know your history, but know your history and take those lessons from the history to also help guide you in your future and help you map out your trajectory from there.
Experience it as soon as possible, because you can save money for retirement. You can make plans for retirement, but God laughs at man's plans. You got to do it when you can, and do it when you're young, because you can't save your youth.
As a law enforcement officer, that we have a duty and an obligation to be righteous and not to overuse or misuse your power and privilege, right? And it also talks about different biases that we all have, but how to ensure that those biases doesn't dictate behavior.
Take time to be kind and to forgive yourself, let alone learn and embrace forgiving others. I've forgiven everyone. I harbor no ill. My father, we didn't go into, shot my mom 6 times. I have no ill will. He's passed away, but before he even died, the last 10 years, I used to sit down and talk with him. This is the man who shot the person I loved the most in my life.
Like, try everything, go to every event on campus that you can. Like, you know, don't be afraid to just be who you are, I guess. Like, I don't really know. Just like experience everything, be present is my main thing. I feel like people tend to be super like nostalgic and like reminisce when they aren't present in the moment. So just make sure that you're enjoying and experiencing everything, or experiencing everything that you enjoy, all that. Just, yeah, it's my advice.
And as a result of the way that we educate today, we've lumped everyone together in this belief that most all of us learn the same way. We learn the same things at the same time, at the same age, in the same progression, with the same or similar types of outcomes. And that couldn't be further from the truth. No human being that ever is right now, ever was, and ever will be. All of us are vastly, incredibly different. And it's when we tap into the difference and begin to celebrate that, that we begin to really have the type of diverse communities that we really want as humanity. And that's why humans work well, is because we recognize how each of us are different.
Figure out who you are. And I think that first year is so important, because we see a lot of people try to figure out who they are, and because they're alone, they can't do it, and they just conform to people who are around them, and like when they go back home, they're completely different. So we see that a lot of people change their standards, their morals, whatever, so that they can have a group of friends, so that they could fit in. But if you're coming in here, what I could tell you is, forget them. You don't need anybody. You just need to know who you are. You need to know what you're going towards. You need to know what your goal is, and just stand on that.
And she loved me to life. So a lot of people say, I love you to death, but I think that it's really important that we use our words for healing, and loving somebody to life helps them understand that even without you, they're still capable, and they're still powerful, and they're still magnificent. And so she loved me to life, and the way that she did that helped me to see, yes, that I as a person need to be loving other people to life, speaking life into them, helping them understand that they're brilliant.
I can teach my kids stuff, but I can't ask him to want what I do, right? But I can love and support him and give him the opportunity to experience things, right?
Yeah.
And that experience hopefully provides him with some thought and some clarity to make some decisions about what he wants to do, and not feel like he has to do X, Y, and Z, or define what success looks like for him.
You get to a certain point where you're in your early to mid 20s, you got to be able to discern things, right?
Absolutely.
So get to a point where you can trust yourself and your intuition, and there's lessons you won't even have to learn. You'll see somebody else learn it, and you'll see somebody else go through it, and maybe that'll be like your wake-up call.
And so if I can be someone who helps other people think, how can I change my perspective on love? How can I also lead with love? How can I become someone who's capable of being loved and willing to love in return? That is what I want people to get from my poetry, and I want them to understand that it is fully me when I show up in my poetry, and that's okay. People may not identify with it. They may think I'm wild, and that's okay, but I'm happy with who I am when I show up in my poetry.
Going with the flow, but also the flow is like chosen by you. So you got to fake it till you make it, and also go with the flow. You can't just like sit down and wait for something to happen. You need to go out there and do it, and also put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, because that's the only way you grow. Like being in a room for like 60 minutes with people that you've never met before in your life, and just going out there and trying to talk, even if you might be a socially awkward person, just start word vomiting and just trying to figure out what people are like. And
always be true to who you are. Be unapologetically you. Use your voice. Stand up for yourself. I mean, and young kids that are in school and that are struggling with anything that has to do with racism or being bullied or picked on, you have to talk. You have to find someone who's safe for you to talk to, and live in the moment. You know, I'm not talking going out and gambling thousands and thousands of dollars, but live in your moment. Give yourself that time, self-care, time with friends, time with family.
There's an old saying that says, be careful of the toes that you step on, because they could be connected to the ass you're kissing tomorrow. Or the toes you step on today could be connected to the ass you have to kiss tomorrow. So treat everybody fairly. with respect.
What does that look like? What are your goals? Write down your goals 2 times a day. This is probably the biggest thing, bro. Write down your goals 2 times a day. When you wake up, write down your goals. Before you go to bed, write down your goals again. And what you'll start to see is and this is biblical too, write down the vision, make it plain, right? Is that the things that you start to write down, your brain will automatically start trying to find ways to make those things come to fruition. So write down your goals, know who you are, and then add tremendous value to people at the end of the day.
A lot of people out here
Yeah.
that is free in the body and incarcerated in the mind. And so I think this work, mental health work, folks of color, Black people in particular, can the counter narrative to that stigma is that doing mental health work is the antidote. It is the cure for the incarceration of the mind.
You have so many interactions with people on any given day. And even though it could mean absolutely nothing to you, it could mean everything to that person. So if you even just wave or nod or look at someone in a certain manner, you share so much of your energy with them. And so much can be conveyed through a glance, right? And so on the way here, I don't think about it anymore. Even when I was younger, I used to just say hi to folks, whatever, and then the world kind of was like, beat you down. You're like, yeah. But like I said, you kind of forget the things sometimes that you have when you're younger as you grow old, and the world just tries to beat it out of you in so many different ways if you let it. And then if you just kind of get to the point where you're, just wiping it off, you dust it off your shoulders,
right?
Then it's just, hey. And you don't have to do anything more, anything less, because organically stuff will happen if you engage.
Particularly great directors never say, do this.
Yeah.
They say, how about this? What if? A lot of what ifs, and to me, that's the key of leadership, is asking questions and not making judgments. Being critical, but not criticizing, right? Listening and also hearing, right? That's the key to being a good leader. So you embody that. Anyone can be a leader as long as you can listen to the people around you and not judge and help guide, not direct, but guide.
Being a good person goes a long way. And I've always led with people and, customer satisfaction, client satisfaction before money, right? Which also in the reverse means, okay, just because there's a nice check coming, that doesn't mean we're going to take this case, right?
Wow.
And I've turned down cases where that I thought, went against my morals and my values.
Yeah. If I'm not loving myself, can I continue doing this? The answer is no, because there was a time when I was struggling, with some mental wellness, and I couldn't put out anything positive. I just couldn't do anything. So I had to go back, go to therapy, and love myself again before I can produce more work. So I think the first step for any creative, for any person, is to find ways to love themselves. And also, I say this too, also love the people around you. There's a poem by Luis Valdez called En La Kesh, and it says, I'm your other you, or you are my other me. Meaning if I do harm to you, I do harm to myself, and I love you, I also love myself.
Just start. That's it. Just start. Don't overthink it too much, because if you start overthinking, you're not going to start. When you do a list of pros, cons, and you're like, oh, I don't have the funding yet, or it's not quite right, or will anyone like this, or maybe I need to do some more research, or let me, it's not the right time, maybe I gotta wait till next year. All those things are gonna just set you back.
Don't allow people to place you in a box. What you know when you move through life is that a lot of the time people will project their own fears on you, right? And in that way, if we internalize that, we then become limited ourselves, right? Just because they're scared to do it doesn't mean that I'm afraid to do it.
You are the hope. Respect your elders. I know we didn't do, that good of a job, but I've been your age. You haven't been mine. So when somebody, even if he or she is an old fool, you learn something from it. But respect your elders. Respect yourself. And always be ready to learn something. Be humble. And love the life you live, because it's on there's an old Kool and the Gang song.
Love the life you live so you can live the life you love. I kind of live like that.